welcome to the show! I am your host, Andrew Illy, and this is the Ball of Truth. We are live. This is episode 82. Thank you very much for joining me. Wherever you are around the world, wherever you are, you silly motherfuckers. Thank you again, guys, for joining me live on this Friday. It is Grand Final Friday. I love this day. Whoever thought it was a good idea to have this day off, well done. And I love Grand Final weekend, and that is tomorrow, the granny. We'll get into that one too. But welcome everyone to the Carlton season review for 2024. Firstly, I would like to congratulate Patrick Cripps, who just won his second Brownlow of his career with a record-breaking 45 votes. Unbelievable stuff. And I always give my 3-2-1 here votes for Carlton players at the end of every game. Every match in my reviews, and pretty much almost every game I was giving Cripps votes. Without doubt, one of the best, and even in losses, he was just outstanding. Really carried us. Remarkable season by Paddy Cripps, and he literally, like I said, he carried this team on his back for us to even make finals. So that was awesome on Monday night, and a positive way to end the season, which second half of the season wasn't great. But, Paddy Cripps, tremendous, humble athlete, and I love the way he goes about footy. And if you're a young player or young kid aspiring to be an AFL player, then you'd want to model it on that man. And he 100% deserved the Brownlow. And yes, the voting is quite ridiculous sometimes, I know. But I see all these Dacos fanboys and Collingwood fans crying and saying it's rigged and Cripps didn't deserve it. Shut up. Shut up. The boy you wanted to win didn't even get his team to the finals. So there's that. And he'll win one, don't worry. God, shut up. The right man won. I don't want to hear any rubbish excuses. Cripper was the best. He's the best player in the comp. Not the flashiest, but he's the best. Simple as that. The guy was ridiculous this season. And if you think otherwise, you clearly did not watch Carlton games. Now, I have taken a few weeks off. I've just sat back and tried to enjoy the finals, not having to worry about the Blue Baggers. And it's hard to enjoy finals because we're no longer in them, but I appreciate the level of footy you need to be at this stage of the season, and this is the level we failed to recapture from mid-season form. And we'll get into it, guys, don't worry. Swans and Lions tomorrow in the granny will face off, which I'll review on this channel maybe Sunday or Monday, but I believe both teams absolutely deserve to be there. For me, Swans are the best team in the league, and they have been all year, but I would not count the Brisbane Lions out of this one. I mean, they were there last year. They only lost by one kick to Collingwood, so they've got that experience there behind them, and who knows, man. Honestly, I think this will be much closer than people think. A lot of people are writing off the Lions, but they've had two epic wins, great comebacks, and momentum is on their side. Experience. You just never know, man. But Swans, they've been the best team all year. Can they do it for one more game? Let's see. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. It's going to be a ripper. Shiny Blue is in there, mate. Hello, everyone. Peter, Bobblehead, side by side. They're salty together. They definitely are. They definitely are. I don't understand where that's coming from. Cripps was clearly the best player, regardless of what you think of the voting, guys. The 45 votes. Look, I have my opinions on the umpires voting for the Brownlow. I reckon it would be better if it was like a team of experts, former players. But I don't know. You know what? This will cause arguments all over the place and they might end up changing it. Who knows? Seriously. But, yeah. Let's see how we go, guys. In the last 2 weeks, I've had time to reflect, reminisce, and look back at what I thought was an unbelievably frustrating and underachieving year for the Blues. There were great moments, highest of the highs and lowest of the lows, but it wasn't a failure of a season. It wasn't a failure. It was almost a failure. But much like 2023, this season was divided into two stories. But this time it was in reverse order to 2023. I mean, it's amazing. I think it was after round 15 against Geelong, I put out a video and with the thumbnail asking the question, are the Blues the real deal? And at that stage of the season, I firmly believed and I was convinced we were the best team in the league at that moment. And we were healthy, we were in form, and we had just dismantled Geelong by 10 goals plus, who were a top 4 side at the stage. And who would have thought from that moment, man, that we would barely just scrape in for finals. And we got knocked out in the first round. So, look, injuries, 100%, they played a major factor in that second half of the season. And there's just so much to unpack, but I guess we'll start at the beginning. But before we do, guys, I'll need you to smack that like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Next year is going to be a big one. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Follow me on all social medias, guys. There they are. @balloftruth_pod. balloftruth.pod on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And our home is YouTube. I will definitely be more active on those next season. But there's plenty of more content to come in this off-season, guys. I'll probably drop a player rankings for season 2024 next week. One by one, I'm individually going to rate their season. And look, whatever comes our way in the news and rumors, I'll be here to drop that stuff for you guys as well. But of course, yeah, follow me on all social medias. Leave a comment at the end of the video if you're in the live chat. I will get to you guys at the end of the show. Sometimes I have a break and check what's going on in there. I don't know who's going to be on watching live at this stage on a Friday during the day, but I thought I'd just drop this episode for you guys. So if you're a Carlton fan or not a fan of Carlton, I'm going to take you on a mini journey through the season to feel the pain and the pinball machine-like emotions and moments which had our hearts feel like a roller coaster of anxiety, because that is what it's like to be a Carlton supporter. And this all begun opening round this year against the Lions at the Gabba. Our previous game before this, we were at the Gabba and we lost in a prelim. Don't forget, guys, we made a prelim last year, top 4. That is remarkable. So we're going back to the Gabba. We're down by 46 points. Sam Doherty's done his ACL. And it was just a miraculous comeback. Harry Mackay and Charlie Curnow were doing their thing in the second half. And Mackay ended up being the hero. It was a great story for him because there was a lot of adversity on him because of his kicking woes and troubles and confidence. But that day, he was the hero. He scored the winning goal and he was awesome. And that was such a good story for his confidence, which would continue throughout the whole season. I thought Harry was magnificent. The downfall was the Doherty injury, the ACL. But at that moment, man, I'm just like, this blew my mind because there was so much momentum going on from last season into this one, and we're down by 46 points. I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go again. But we managed to come back, and it was ridiculous, man. 46 points down at the Gabba to come back. That shows a lot of heart, a lot of character, and a lot of strength to not give up. I loved it. So I'm like, all right, maybe at this stage, far out, we're a real competitor. Even after one game, I'm like, that's got to count for something. This team was just in the grand final, and they're in the grand final again. So it was a massive win. The next week we had Richmond in a nail biter, and this is before they got all their injuries, man. And it was a tough game. Scraped over the line against them by 5 points, and there were some scary moments in this game, like the Charlie Curnow miss in the goal square. If you guys remember, in the last quarter, I believe it was, where he could have like basically sealed this thing, and he's just been tackled, almost like Nick Riewoldt in the second grand final against Collingwood. Pretty much exactly the same thing. So he missed from the goal square, but we just hung on. We just hung on in this one. And Richmond were leading at every single break in that game. So that was a good win. Now we're at 2-0 at this stage. Then we smashed North. That was expected. So we're 3-0. And round 4, the Freo game, gather round in Adelaide. We've never won on this ground. So this was a monumental win in a close one. Another nail biter with a little bit of a controversial finish. But a nice comeback in the dying stages, man. The game looked over in the last few minutes, but Charlie Curnow nailed a goal. Then Cottrell with a clutch goal. And then I think it was Kennedy who sealed the deal. It was crazy finish. Absolutely crazy finish. But it was a milestone because we got over that hurdle of not winning at that ground ever. So that was great. Round 5, Walsh was back. And this, in what I think was one of the worst losses of the year, maybe the worst. Honestly, it still pisses me off today. And I said it back then that it would come back to bite us, and it did, because it was guaranteed 4 points this game, man. We're up by 3 goals against Adelaide, and we let this slip away. Well, there was honestly like a few minutes to go, and Adelaide just piled on the goals. This is the game, the complacency and the mental weakness that traumatized Carlton was born, because this started a trend throughout the whole year, this game and this loss. So we should have won, up by 19, 18 points with a few minutes to go, and we lost. Crazy stuff. Then we bounced back against the Giants, who were in great form, and they were a top 4 side at this stage. And Charlie Curnow was awesome in the second half. De Koning was kicking ass. He had 3 goals that game. Huge stuff. And that was good that we responded. Round 7 against Geelong, we kicked ourselves out of it. And it was the first quarter, really, that stuffed us up. We kicked 8 behinds and a few out on the fulls, and then Geelong just got out to a very good lead. But then there was that massive comeback again in the last quarter where we got it within a kick or two. Akers was awesome. He scored ridiculous back-to-back goals to push that momentum, but we just couldn't hold on in that one. So that was disappointing. Then the following week, round 8, we versed the scumbags Collingwood. This one, we were up by 6 goals in the second quarter, man. We were murdering them all over the field. And again, much like Adelaide, this is when the trend continued on. We let that slip. And this was the second time this season it had happened where the game was firmly in our control and we looked like winning it. I know it was the second quarter, but 6 goals is a massive lead, man. I know in today's game you can come back from it, but it was really, really disappointing that they came back and beat us in the last minute again, Dacos with that goal. So another great lead lost. So this is that beginning of that mental weakness, man, when we can't hold a lead. Round 9, that was back-to-back losses for the Blues. Round 9, another great lead and dominated against the Ds, but it came down to literally the final few seconds because we had our foot off the gas once again in the last quarter. We were up by 5 goals, basically the whole game, and then the Ds had a real big sniff at it, and we got lucky, man. We escaped embarrassment that day after such a great performance for 3.5 quarters, and we just almost let it slip. And that's 3 leads we basically let slip so far this season. This one didn't end up as a loss, but the other 2 did. But it was just a very concerning thing, and I harped on about it all year. And this is going to continue. That's 3 times we've dropped a big lead. Round 10 is the 4th time. Sydney at the SCG. If you guys remember, first quarter, we smashed them. All over them, up by 5 goals. Almost couldn't believe how good we were playing. And then that mindset again crept in again for the 4th time this season, and we let Sydney back in it. And there was no way we were mentally strong enough to hold on because it had already happened 3 times. So once Sydney got in front, it was game over, man. And this is the 4th time already, and it's only round 10. It's nearly half the games we've done this. Round 11. Oh, and don't worry, we'll get to the Giants one. Round 17, that's coming. Round 11, a much-needed win against a good Suns side. Very, very good Gold Coast Suns, improved Gold Coast Suns side. Last quarter, we ran away with it. Second half was much better than the first in this game. It was the Mac Andrew game. He was outstanding. We played some good footy, and we started our peak run. Cripps and Walsh and TDK were dominating at this point. Charlie and Harry were cooking. So that's 2 in a row. No, sorry, that's this started a run of wins. Round 12, a memorable thumping win over Port Adelaide in Adelaide. So it's the second time we went up there and we won again. Last quarter, blitzed by the usual suspects. Cripps and Walsh were ridiculous. We smashed them in the last quarter by 6 goals, nearly 7-goal win. And that set up a 2-game winning streak, playing awesome footy. Round 13, 3 wins in a row. We came up against the Bombers, a top 4 side. Bombers were flying at the start of the year, up until mid-year, much like us. And there was another huge win in terms of the ladder because Bombers were on top of us at this stage, so we overtook them here. And we're starting to believe and starting to remember what it's like to be a consistent footy team. So the wins were coming. That's 3 in a row. Good, hard, contested footy. Wasn't an easy win by any stretch. And this was the one right before the bye. And we had injuries all year up until this point. And that was only going to get worse. But the bye couldn't have come at a better time. 3-game winning streak. We're 9 wins and 4 losses at this point. We're in the top 4. And when we come back from the bye, I'm thinking in the bye, we're making top 4 100%. Round 15 was the best win of our season. It was a statement win, which we easily took care of Geelong. And they were a top 4 bound team, and they ended up in the top 4. We were absolutely ruthless this day. A 10-goal plus win over a great team. And at this stage, I'm definitely thinking top 4 is guaranteed. If we were playing this way and smashing teams and healthy, I can't see us losing, honestly. The following week, round 16, we thumped Richmond. Cripps was on fire. The whole team's free-flowing, playing good, hard, contested footy. We smashed the Tigers. I know they were bottom of the ladder at this point. But it's 5 wins in a row. And I'm thinking, who can stop us at this point? Top 4 bound. Looking fantastic. I'm confident. Nothing's phasing me. That was round 16. And round 17. The moment that changed our whole season. The Blues took on the Giants away. I'll never forget it, man, because my wife's in labour. I'm watching this in the hospital. This was crazy. That first quarter, we absolutely destroyed the Giants. We were up 52-13 and they got a late goal at the end of the quarter. We were smacking them apart. Seriously tearing them apart. And I remember at quarter time, I was messaging my brother while I was in the hospital. My wife's next to me in pain. And I'm loving it. I couldn't believe what was going on. I messaged him. I said, we are the best team in the league. We are literally the best team in the league. After watching that first quarter and the previous 5 weeks, and I'm like, oh my God, we're ridiculous. We're finally a good team. And boy, did I jinx it and speak too bloody soon. Because, again, for the 5th time this year, we let a massive lead slip and it cost us 4 points. It was 7-1 in the second quarter and it was basically game on from there. And then we just could not deal with their momentum. We were mentally piss weak. And then Giants ran all over us. We decided to make a late comeback and nearly get the win in the end. But it was embarrassing, man. It was embarrassing. That could have been 6 wins in a row. And basically at that point, if we won that game. I don't know if the inevitable was going to happen where we got too cocky, but that's exactly what I think happened. I think we were playing that bloody good that we're like, oh, shit, this is easy. Foot off the gas. And then teams just come back in. It happened time and time again. And this one, we got punished by a good side, man, Giants. They were in the top 4 again. And they are very unlucky not to be in the grand final tomorrow. That's how good of a side they are. But they choked in the finals 2 weeks in a row. Nevertheless, this game should have won it, man. We were in position to win it and we didn't. And that's due to this mental relapse that kept happening all year. 5-6 goal lead, choke. Foot off the gas, become complacent. I don't understand how it kept happening and happening. And the alarm bells were ringing in round 5 against Adelaide. And I said it back then, if you go watch the review. I said, this is very concerning. But we lost. We lost this game. And it felt like our energy was zapped. Like literally, absolutely zapped. Regardless of our great form, this was a very bad loss and everyone knew it. And I think this carried on into the next week against Bulldogs, which was a very frustrating game. We just could not get on top. Bulldogs were awesome that day, back-to-back losses. And we did make a little bit of a comeback at the end again, but we fell short. Confidence from that GWS game, man. We never, ever recovered. Never recovered from it. So back-to-back losses here. Very bad back-to-back losses because we were the informed team. We should have beat both of those sides, Giants and Bulldogs. Round 19, we bounced back against North Melbourne, which was expected. They were crap. They're a crappy side. They will be good eventually, but they were at this stage of the year, we needed to beat them. It was an expected win. However, it wasn't easy. They were pretty much in the lead a lot of the game. We had to come back and beat them. But injuries were mounting. This is a game TDK. Tom DeConing got hurt. And there was way more injuries than this. Like every single one of our top stars was getting injured. Sard and Charlie and Harry, which is coming in the next weeks. But like Jack Martin, who else? All the usual suspects. Marchbank, Sam Durden played this game and got injured. First game. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. We just could never field the same team like a few weeks in a row. But this was another one where we just scraped over the line. It was an expected win, but we kept our top 4 hopes alive, and I was hoping at this stage that, you know what, we'll get our confidence back from that Giants game after this win, and we'll be fine. We'll be fine. But there was a lot of damage, man. Mentally from that Giants game still lingering, and then the following week, it was round 20. It happened again. 5 goals up against Port Adelaide at home. Marvel Stadium. And we ended up choking and losing that one too. Now top 4 is really out of the question. Seriously, what a shocking loss that was. Smashing Port Adelaide, and then that complacency, foot off the gas, happened again. This is 6-7 times now, this whole season. And why? Who in the coaching staff was pointing this out to the players during the season? I was saying it every single week. Something is going on here. And we'll get to the game plan after this. Because, that was another story. But, like I said, another choke by the Blues, 5 goals up. And now top 4 is really out of reach. Round 21, a chance to redeem ourselves after the last month's poor form against Collingwood. And I was thinking, let's change the momentum here. And Pies were all over us, man. We had a nice comeback in the last. And then McGovern with a chance to win it after the siren. I'll never forget, man, standing there in front of the TV, my heart's literally beating out my chest. I'm just like, this is going to be make or break right now. If he scored that goal, man, it changes our season. Now, I'm not blaming him at all, but I'm just saying that's exactly what it felt like. The anxiety, the stress, and this is after all the shocking losses that we've had and bad form. We really needed this to go in. And he's absolutely shanked it. Gone out on the full. Devastating. Our season just felt like it slipped away, man, at that moment. So a shocking last 4 weeks. And that hurt because it was against Collingwood and they beat us earlier in the year in the final minute as well. So that's 2. Oh my God. It hurts thinking about it again. Anyway, from there, round 22, we come up against the most informed side in the competition. Players aren't fit. Players are mentally destroyed. And the Hawks absolutely tore us a new asshole. Embarrassing performance. Injuries galore. All the top stars getting injured this game. Charlie went down. Harry went down. McGovern went down. Like, you can go back and watch all the reviews, guys. It was crazy. And top 8 wasn't even looking likely now. After this 4 to 5 week period, man, where we're looking top 2, literally the top 4, top 2, it all went crashing down because of these performances, man. And it stems from the Adelaide game, but the Giants game was when we really lost the plot. So we lost this one. Absolutely got smashed. It was embarrassing. Top 8. I thought our season was done. We weren't even going to make top 8. After all the injuries, we had like 11 or 12 injuries after this one. We had to go to Eagles away with no confidence and no momentum. And somehow we won. A great win against the odds with all the injuries and everything. So that was awesome. And there was no Charlie and Harry, but we played awesome as a team, lowering the eyes, going inside forward 50 and spreading the goals around. So that was cool. I'm like, oh man, now we're a little bit of a sniff here. And then the St Kilda game happened, round 24, last game of the season, where we lost literally in the final seconds with devastating stuff. We came back and hit the lead in this one. Cripps was outstanding. He literally broke his back this game for us. We hit the lead. We missed chances. They missed chances. We missed chances. And then Higgins scored. You could see it happening before it even happened. Higgins scored the goal that I thought ended our season at that stage of the game. At that stage of the season, there was Freo and Port Adelaide to go right after this, but I thought there was no way Freo were losing, which they ended up losing, so we made finals. But then it was just going into that elimination final, the boys were mentally and physically exhausted from this absolute roller coaster, man. No confidence, no belief. They went into that game pretty much beat as soon as Brisbane kicked their first goal. It was like our hearts and heads just dropped and it was all over. Seriously. And that was the most disappointing thing, man, because we struggled to get there in the end. And we just had nothing going for us. No momentum. Charlie couldn't make it back. We introduced all these new players. Like, you can go back and watch the review a few weeks ago. We just weren't ready. And that was it, man. That was our season. The downfall was the GWS game. But the catalyst for that GWS game started in round 5 against Adelaide. That loss was so bad, man. It was so bad. And we're letting leads slip all throughout the year because of it. Countless times. How many times did I just mention then? 7 times we lost the lead. Imagine we won just 2 of those games. Would basically be in at least minimum home final. We would have finished 5th. Or we would have finished 4th and got the double chance. And I wanted that so bad this season. And I know injuries played a part. And that's the other question. We got rid of our fitness coach. So the next one coming in, he really needs to improve this team for next year. We need to stay healthy. You just can't win a premiership with all that amount of injuries that we had, man. It was crazy. The second half of the season was abysmal. And all the momentum and confidence after the Geelong and Richmond game they were shattered, man. because of that Giants game. Because we thought we were fucking King Dick, got cocky, and we capitulated because we got ahead of ourselves, man. And that's the truth. We got ahead of ourselves. I got ahead of myself thinking we're the best team in the competition. And you know what? We were. But that, because we thought we were and we knew we were, it was our downfall. It's absolutely crazy, man. So next year, when we're winning and we look like one of the best sides in the league, we have to literally implement it in our head and insert that we are not. Because that mindset gets you nowhere. That was the Giants game. But like I said, man, that Adelaide one was just... That one still hurts. If we don't beat Adelaide next season, man, my membership's getting snapped. Honestly, there's no game I want to win more for some weird reason than Adelaide. Because they always bloody do it to us, man. They're like our bogey side. It pisses me off. So, yeah. The game plan. Letting these leads slip. How did they not figure it out during the year? That's what I want to know. Because then we would resort to these long, predictable kicks down the wing to 3-on-1. Charlie's literally got plays hanging off his arms and legs. And we just kept doing it time and time again. This was our plan B. Long down the wing. Every team knew exactly what we were going to do. And that is on the coaches, man. It really is. That was really, really disappointing that no one could figure out why, when we get a lead, can we not hold a lead? And I really hope we figure that out for next season. Because if we don't, we've got no chance, man. It's just going to keep happening. And I thought we learnt our lesson against Geelong, man. Because I think they started coming back a little bit in the second quarter of that game. But we're like, nah. We had that killer mindset. And we're like, no. You got to be ruthless for 4 quarters. And that's the other thing, man. We can't play 4 quarters this season. Seriously. There was times where we would only play 1 or 2 quarters and we won. Imagine we played 3. Imagine we played 4. Then no team could beat us, but we can't. We couldn't do it. And you can't expect that every week, right? But man, at least there were times where we went goalless in that second half of the year, and it was just so embarrassing. Really, really tough to watch. But we need a plan B next season, man. And Voss, I love Voss. I think Voss is awesome. But he's going to have so much pressure on him next year, man. He really will. And he needs to surround himself by winners. We need to hire some proven winners that have won premierships, that have been there. Like Adam Simpson now, he's out of a job, the former Eagles coach. Get him in somehow. We need experienced winners to help Voss. And come up with different game plans, man, because we were so one-dimensional and every team figured it out. So that was really disappointing. And the long kicks down the wing, if you're at a game and every Carlton fan is saying exactly the same thing, so how did the coaches not see it either? It was really strange. Really strange. One of the things I did notice actually against Brisbane at the elimination final a few weeks ago was when we didn't have this plan B in motion and we would go long down the wing, the amount of players that stood there stationary, not moving off the ball to create space for the next person was mind-blowing to me. It was absolutely mind-blowing. And I'm looking at it from 15 meters away. I was on the boundary and I'm yelling I swear Chera was right in front of me. I'm like, Chera, move out. Move out of the way and let someone else come in behind with a lead. But it wasn't happening, man. Everyone was just standing still. It really fucking did my head in. But, so the game plan needs to change next year. Absolutely does. The players who disappointed me this season, I just mentioned one of them, Adam Chera. I think he was nowhere near up to his standards. And I know that they played him out of position a couple of times. But there were moments, man, this season where he just wasn't strong enough. Seemed too soft. Didn't want to take contact in marking contests. It was really, really bizarre. Whether he was carrying an injury, I don't know. But he really needs to step up, man, next season. Otherwise, they'll put him up for trade. And it wouldn't even surprise me if they're considering it after this season. Because he just wasn't good enough. Jack Martin, we'll get into the delistings. He was one game, he plays, gets injured, comes back 3 weeks later, gets injured, and then the same. It's just repetitive, man. It's just so frustrating. So Marchbank was the other one, exactly the same thing. He was disappointing. Jesse Motlop, I thought, was really, really disappointing this season. Whether or not the preseason had a part to play in that, but he just was not anywhere near the level that we needed him to be at. And I don't think he even scored that many goals this year. Fantasia, he had a couple of good games, but overall he disappointed me too. Just doesn't get involved enough. Cunningham was the other one, another injury-prone player who disappointed me. Charlie Curnow, despite having a good season, I thought he was pretty average by his standards. His goal kicking wasn't the best, but I know he looked sore, man. And hopefully he's having ankle surgery now in the next few days, I'm pretty sure. So hopefully he gets better and has a full preseason and looks sharp again next year. And I thought Saad was the other one who was a bit average, not his best. And I still don't think we utilize him properly with that run and carry out of defense and that rebound. Hopefully someone can think of a nice plan for him next year. The players who did impress me, Lockie Cowan, that's a gem in the back line. He was fantastic. Probably our most improved player. And I thought Zach Williams' move forward in the forward line was also fantastic. Whoever thought of that. I'm pretty sure he was the one who put his hand up for it. So that worked. But the other thing is he needs to stay healthy. And we'll see what happens with that. Harry Mackay had a great season. Probably his best minus the Coleman medal year. He was awesome. And he got all those cobwebs out and the demons out of him with his goal kicking. So much better. I thought Ollie Holland's second half of the season was amazing. Seriously, he's going to be an absolute jet for us. I love his work ethic and his heart and passion. He honestly plays for the badge. That is awesome to see. And Tom De Koning had his best year as well. Got injured, got very unlucky with that. But I think we just got to sign this lad up because when he came on against Brisbane, man, we looked such a different side. He is amazing and he's just going to get better and better and better. And we're lucky to have him, man. Sign him up. Get him to the club. Lock him away for years. Chincotta was the other one. Alex Chincotta, who I thought was so harsh to miss out on the Brisbane game at the elimination final. And definitely the wrong decision. Absolutely wrong decision not to play him. He was awesome in his new tagging role and he can play anywhere. He's versatile. He was fantastic. And I want to see him play opening round or round one next year. He's got to be back in the side. Now, the delistings. Not many surprises, man. Dom Akuai was one of them. He never really got a senior game. I don't think he ever played one. David Cunningham, injury prone, gone. Caleb Marchbank, injury prone, gone. Very sad, those two players, because they had so much potential. Cunningham with his knee and then a million other injuries, and Marchbank with his knee and a million other injuries, and he kept doing it and doing it. Concussions, you name it. It was crazy. Jack Martin with his calves made of spaghetti. He couldn't get going. And Alex Murkov was the other one. So no real surprises there out of those 5 that got delisted. Now there's 3 players who have been told to pretty much look elsewhere, and one of them is out of contract, which is Matt Owies. Sign Matt Owies up, please. The guy is our best small forward. He scored 33 goals, the most since Jeff Garlett in 2000 and God knows what. He was the number 1 pressure player inside forward 50, and he was up there for goal assists as well, and he's tackling, and he's so accurate in front of goal, man, and we need someone like that, and he plays with passion, and I really don't think he's going to be there after reading all the reports, and it's so sad, man, so sad, because I think that is one that we just can't let go. I love Matty Owies, and that will be devastating if he goes. Matty Kennedy is the other one who was rumoured that he could find another club. I really don't understand, and I don't understand the decision, whoever dragged him against Brisbane. That was painful to see. We've been playing him out of position all year. I mean, like, come on, man. The guy bleeds navy blue, and he can play anywhere. He's versatile. I know he wants to play midfield, and the Carlton staff probably think there's no spot for him. But honestly, after this season, I would rather him there than Adam Chera. Honestly. I don't see the difference. But, so if he has to look elsewhere, man, and clubs want to approach him, that's another sad thing. Him and Owies, I would have loved for them to stay, but it looks like they might be on their way out. Who knows? Lewis Young is the other one. I'm not surprised by that either. But the only thing that surprises me is that we've just gotten rid of Marchbank. And if we get rid of Lewis Young, who the hell is going to step in defence? I know Nick Haynes looks like he's coming to Carlton from GWS. So that's one defender. But if we get rid of Lewis Young, I don't know, man. Look, I don't think we should, because he's got 2 years left on his contract, I'm pretty sure. Unless there's some, I don't know what they've got planned, because there's the Dan Houston factor is lingering around. There's rumours that we want Gold Coast's pick 12. If we can somehow manage to get Gold Coast's pick 12, then we can use that as trade bait to get Dan Houston, because Port Adelaide want pick 11, but we refuse to give that up. There's no way we're giving up pick 11. And there's no way we're trading one of our big players. Speaking of trading one of our big players, Petrarca was the other rumour during all that Brisbane lead up to that elimination final, whether or not Harry Mackay for Petrarca. I don't know who started the rumour, but I'm absolutely happy that Harry Mackay's staying. I don't want him to go, regardless of Petrarca. I just think it's not worth it. So we'll see what happens, man. The always one is really mind-boggling, honestly. I don't get it. I really hope that we can somehow get a deal for him. I don't think the treatment of him has been right either. I mean, I don't know what the conversations have been like, but no one's come out and said we want him to stay, which I think is really, really sad. And I would hate to see him go to a rival. Oh my God, that would make me sick. And yeah, we'll see what happens, man. But like, going on to next year, man, we need to stay healthy and fit. Otherwise, we're going to have no success. But the good news is Jack Silvani will do a proper preseason and hopefully get right, because I think adding him into this side will be huge. And before he got injured last season, he was awesome, man. He was finding his groove up forward, kicking goals, pressure, just exactly what we needed as a third target. So it'd be nice for him to come back, and he can play ruck. He can do anything. Who knows? They might play him back in the back line. I don't know. But I would definitely keep him forward, judging by his last few games before he got injured. He was awesome. We get him back. We get Matt Cottrell back. And he only played a handful of games. He was so unlucky with injuries. And I think when Cottrell is at his best, then he's definitely in our best 22. And then you've got your Charlies and Harrys and everyone doing a proper preseason. Hopefully Zach Williams can stay fit. Fogarty is the other one. We missed him in the elimination final and the last month of the year. He got injured against Hawthorn. I'm pretty sure it was against Hawthorn. He is one of our best pressure act players in this team, in the league, honestly. He's so underrated. And he can find the goal when he needs to, but his tackling and his pressure definitely helps the likes of Charlie and Harry and the Crummers there. So he will get him back too. A lot to look forward to next year, man. If we can stay healthy and fit, I firmly believe that we can compete for the top. But, like I said at the start of this year in my preview, we need to make top 4, man. We need to make top 4. You can't... I mean, Brisbane did it from... What did they finish? 5th? And now they're in the granny tomorrow. So it is possible, but you just don't want to take any chances, man. When was the last time Carlton finished in the top 4? My God, I honestly can't remember. Was it 2000... Early 2000... Or 2001, maybe? I can't even remember. Was it 99? Oh my God. The last time we won a premiership was 30 years ago, ticking over to next year. It's going to be the 30-year anniversary, man. What better way to win it again after 30 years? The writing is on the wall, man. But that is pretty much it, man. That's our season review. A lot to do. And look, I've been watching a lot of interviews, Voss and the players, and I'm glad that they're pissed off at how the season ended. And they know it's not good enough. I thought Voss was correct in saying, if you want to be the best, then you stay here. But if not, if you don't want to be the best, then why are you here? Something along those lines, and it really sat well with me hearing that. That pumped me up because I'm like, you have to want to be the best. That's the only way you're going to win. It really is. We will cover the news and rumours over the next few weeks, see what happens with Owies. But from what I'm hearing, man, it's not looking good. I hope Kennedy stays. I know he wants to play midfield, but honestly, at this point, I just want him to stay. Lewis Young, look, he had his best game against Brisbane, so I don't want us to lack defenders, so I wouldn't mind keeping him. And he's a confidence player. When he's confident, like he was against Brisbane in the elimination final, the guy's awesome. He is. But it's all up here with him. And he needs to get stronger. Have that cunt in him. I've always said that. Put your body on the line. But yeah, man, we'll cover it. Next week, I'll drop an episode. Well, I'll review the granny. I would love to review the granny, so we'll do that either Sunday or Monday. Cover that one. And then I want to get into each individual player's rating, my opinion on the season. And we'll take it from there, guys. But that's pretty much it from me today, guys. I hope I've covered everything that I wanted to, but shut up. Even if I haven't, I'll see you guys very soon. Remember, subscribe to the channel, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment. I'll always get back to you guys. That's your season review. Overall, just disappointing. And there's a lot to look forward to next year, though. That I just can't wait. It sucks that we have to wait till March. Honestly, it does. But I'm confident, man. If we stay healthy, we can do it. Let's see how we go. I'll drop another episode midweek. Stay tuned for that one, guys. Plenty of content to go. And I am changing the whole show up next year. More intros, more videos. Going to try and interview a few people. Let's see how we go. But guys, thank you so much. And I got to shout out some people like James, one of my subscribers on Twitter or X, who shouted me out and saying a few people were saying thank you for all my content this year and going live after all the games. A lot of people don't know where to find my videos, man. But if you click on the live section, they're right there. Seriously. But in the chat, we've got APOV 2021. Season promised a lot, but a massive fail on team perspective. Yes, it really it hurt because we knew that fully fit we were good enough, but we couldn't get there in the end. We just fell short by about 6 weeks. But you know what? We'll learn. We'll learn from this, and it has to make the players hungrier for next season. So yes, but yes, as I was saying, shout out to the people who gave me some love on Twitter. That made me feel so good, man. And I'm glad that you guys enjoy my content. And just subscribe. We're going to go massive next year. I can see it coming already. Guys, I'm out. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. And till Sunday or Monday when I review the granny, I'll see you all then and we'll cover it all. But enjoy the grand final. Enjoy your long weekend. Adios. Goodbye. Go Blues. And remember, subscribe, man. Thank you, APOV. Legend.